How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Wolves for a brand new match preview today. Wolves back in Premier League action away at Manchester City this weekend. My name is Dave, and as you can see alongside me today is Finn. Finn, how's it going, man?
I'm alright, thanks, mate. How are you? How's it
I'm
going?
all good, yeah. All good, thanks for asking. When was our last preview? Was that Palace, was it, I think?
Yeah, it was when because we were talking about who to put on the thumbnail. That's what I
That was it,
remember.
yeah. But we got a late draw against Palace, of course. Our first win in the Premier League last week against Watford, and obviously rounding off the another successful week with the late victory against Besiktas. Of course, you can see the match review and stuff for that as well. But a really tough game for Wolves to come into before the next international break. But before we jump into that, be sure to check out our channel partners over at OneFootball. The number one football app out there at the moment. You can check them out. A link in the top of the description down below. You can grab all your live football news, football scores, football transfer rumours. Select Wolves as your favourite team when you download the app as well. So yeah, as I said, free to download on Android and iOS, and link in the top of the description down below. But Finn, after a little bit of a momentum boost. We now come up against the reigning champions in Manchester City, are almost, on their day, impossible to beat. It's going to be a tough game for sure. Let's rewind back to the last two games. How do you rate our performances against Watford and Besiktas?
Yeah, the Watford one, I don't think. To be fair, in either game, I don't think we were particularly groundbreaking and it's particularly amazing. But 3 goals non-conceded in those 2 games. Certainly, you can say very defensively sound, especially in that Watford game. I felt like Bolly and Sace had probably their best games of the season. Or maybe Bolly yesterday, actually, with his last minute Thierry Henry-esque. But yeah, Watford game, I didn't think they were particularly impressive. I do fear for them. Well, fear for them. They get what's coming to them after beating us in that semi-final. But I can't see them doing very well this year. I wish Deulofeu had that sort of game at Wembley than he did against Atlanta. Sometimes he just doesn't look interested. He just didn't look interested, and it's just so annoying. It seems to be. I saw one person say when he's on the bench, he seems to get so angry that he's been on the bench that he comes on like, right, I'm going to prove to you now. Whereas when he starts, he does that. And you think about, in theory, the pace on those wings. I was saying before, you got Ismail Assar and Deulofeu. I mean, they give Traore, like especially Sarr, give Traore a run for his money with pace, but we just never got to see it, and that's probably half down to them and half down to our good defensive work. First goal was vital, and then second goal was fortuitous, but we'll take it. Great vision from Adama as well to put Doherty through. I hadn't seen that picked up enough. And then onto Besiktas, obviously. First half, I was like fearing the worst. I just thought, come on, we need the momentum from Watford. And then it was just like, in the end, you can say tactical masterclass. But if it hadn't have gone that way, I remember I sent that thing to you, didn't I? I think it was Wolves Analytics shout out. They said literally that our passes in the first half, I don't think we made a forward pass in our half. It was just, there was no outlet, no sort of, whether they were saying, right, let's try not to concede here. And if they don't hit the post, that game goes very, very differently, doesn't it? But thankfully, we get that last minute goal. And yeah, it's seen as a great performance, a great day out, week out for those 1,000 fans, and it's looking good this weekend. 3-0 win, are we saying?
But yeah, you're all right. I was, I think yesterday's game was what I expected it to be. The game against Besiktas, I didn't expect us to go all guns blazing. I mean that stat was a little bit, when you showed that we hadn't even passed the ball into their area, sort of thing. But I expected what was going to happen, and I think that is going to be the exact same way Wolves are going to approach Sunday as well against Manchester City. If you thought that was a negative performance, I think the game against Man City is going to be an interesting one too. I answered some questions from a Manchester City website, and they said, what do I expect on Sunday? And I expect Wolves to line up the exact same way or play the same way with the same intensity that we played against City in the Asia Trophy. Almost 11 men behind the ball. We've got to have a little bit of luck on our side. That hope that Man City don't really have their shooting boots on. Obviously, without Kevin De Bruyne as well, that's been confirmed today.
Really?
He's injured. So,
nice.
Yeah.
4-0 then.
But we just got to look to see when we can get them on the break, similar to the Wolves of last season. I mean, we watched, I think Chelsea last year away was probably one of the perfect examples how deep we sat in that game. And for me as a fan, I thought, I'd never seen Wolves play that defensive before, and we still and probably should have won that game. And of course we got a 1-1 draw in the end, which is a great result away Chelsea. But can you see the same thing happening against City? Finn, do you think we're just going to sit 11 men behind the ball for the majority of the game?
Yeah, we've had a decent record against City, haven't we? Especially under Pep. I mean, there's no wins, but there's only one loss in there, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you count the Asia Trophy as a win, on penalties. But I can't. Yeah, to be fair, I was saying on a Man City preview earlier, I can't remember a team, maybe Crystal Palace, the exception, where they do sit all like they say. Well, to play City, you've got to, like, the general consensus is you sit back and you take your chance if you get it, and I can't think of a team that's actually done well doing that. It's been the Norwiches and the Leicesters of last year when they actually take the game to Man City. And I mean, I can't see us doing it, and I'm completely comfortable with us, especially with playing on Thursday. Limited time to recover. It's a lot less energy sapping, isn't it? Just sitting back. But it has been the teams. There's an argument for going at City, and if we'd have had a full week's rest, I'd have liked to have seen, especially if Jota was fit. If you could say Jota, Jimenez, Traore as the front three that we now seem to be playing, have a go, then I'd be happy with seeing that as well. And if we lose 3-0, we lose 3-0. But I think it's sensible. It makes sense, doesn't it? It's worked for us in the week. Back five again. Last two games, really, they've been very, very solid.
Yeah, agreed.
We rely on that. We hope the midfield can improve. The midfield, probably the area. I think Neves did very well with that pass for Bolly, obviously, but you'd say that's probably been our weakest area at the moment. Would you say? Maybe we haven't really found that combination. Dendonker's been poor. Matinho is obviously class, but hasn't been hit the heights of last year, I'd say, yet. And Neves, struggling, but hopefully that worldy assist can push him on. So I think the back five I'm fine with. I feel like they can defend till the cows come home. No sending off in the first half, ideally, like last time. I think we'll be all right, hopefully.
I'm glad you've spoke about the formation. Quickly, I've just got one football open on the other website here. A crazy stat. 9 of the last 14 goals scored in the Premier League meetings between Man City and Wolves have been via set pieces. So 4 corners, 3 penalties and 2 free kicks, including 4 of the 5 goals last season were from set pieces. So I think in the home game, Bolly scored off a corner or free kick. Yeah, hand of God. City scored off a free kick, crossed in and headed in. Yeah. I think the away games, I think they scored off a penalty.
The first one was brilliant, wasn't it? It was that ball from Laporte, like just cut open our whole back five. That one wasn't. So, I think the rest were.
I think that's probably Wolves' best bet of scoring goals on Sundays, possibly from set pieces. But I'm glad you sort of segued across to the formation there. And of course, Wolves have probably had their best joy since switching back to the 3 forwards. They gave it a really good go against Palace. Probably still not sure why Nuno changed that whilst we were playing with the 3 up top. Played well against Watford and even obviously won the game against Besiktas yesterday. Although you could arguably say we weren't really playing with that formation when we scored the goal, but the majority of the game we did play with that formation. But against Manchester City, can Wolves afford to be that attacking, Finn? Or do you think Nuno is going to switch back to the 3 in the midfield? Because I think the midfield battle is key for Wolves. And of course, having the likes of Dendoncker sitting a little bit deeper, it's going to help the back 5 against such an attacking threat like Manchester City, who of course in their last home game in the league knocked 8 past Watford.
Yeah, well, what are we saying to success then? Less than 5 conceded? I don't know, but yeah, the formation I remember with I remember they highlighted it specifically on Match of the Day. Wolves iconically championship season, start of last season was 3-4-3. When we played City, it was more like a 5-4-1. Obviously, there's easy transition back. It's just dropped the wingers a little bit, and. Yeah, I don't know what. I think with the 3-4-3, especially in that first half against Besiktas, very good defensively again, but Neto and Gibbs White, I don't think they did anything of note. There was that one Neto could have done where Jimenez was basically clean through. Can you afford... I don't think Jota will play, to be honest. I hope he does, but could you afford... I think he's injured, yeah. So even if it was Neto, Adama, Adama and Raul, you couldn't really... I don't know. It is a strange one, but I think one thing I'd like to bring up, because the sort of consensus is sit back. I listened to the 77 Club this week and the Man City guy they had on. They were saying if Man City never, if it was a boxing match, it's almost like every team just sort of goes like that and takes the hits. But they said if you land a punch on City early, just a close free kick or something like hit the post or whatever, they, especially with the back 4 of Zinchenko, Fernandinho, whoever, maybe Mendy back by then, I don't know. But if you can land a punch on that, a set piece, as you said, and they've been specifically vulnerable from set pieces, I would like to see in that first 10 minutes, because I think after 10 minutes of the last time at the Etihad, the game was gone.
Yeah.
Or however many, 15. So I would like to see us land a punch almost, but then you can go and push for that, and we could be, as Watford were, at 5-0 down after 18 minutes. So, formation-wise, what are you feeling, especially with Jota out? It does sort of change, because it's like Jimenez and who would you go up front?
I was thinking about this earlier on, and I think I would go back with 3 in midfield, just because I think I'm not going into this game expecting us to do one over on City. I do expect us to really struggle in this game. Of course, it would be lovely to get a point or 3 points, of course, but I think the 3 in the midfield, you Neves, Moutinho, Dendoncker, but then also I think Catrone and Jimenez could work. I think this could be the match for them, because Catrone came on yesterday and changed the game. He's a workhorse, he's got energy, but also he's quite good aerially as well. And I think if we are going to be playing quite direct again, like we did against Besiktas, some of the long balls, mainly maybe that was because Adama was on. But on the flip side of that, I think Adama is playing so well on his own. He could influence the choice of Nuno. He could Nuno, half of it. Half of him could be thinking, right, I need to play Adama. And Adama could influence the rest of the team selection on his own at the moment, I think. But I think logically, Catrone and Jimenez, those direct balls, I think both of them are so good at the hold-up play. Some of Catrone's touches, the ball could be 30 yards away. Somehow he'll still get his chest on it. I don't know how. Like he's got it. But I think that would be it. I will speak a bit more about the lineup in a second. We've got the thoughts of a Manchester City fan. This is Man City Fan TV. I'll leave their links in the description down below. And here are their thoughts on the upcoming match.
Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV in a rainy, cold Riga. This is a preview for the Wolves game on Sunday, and this is a preview with Talking Wolves. And I want to say a massive thank you to Dave for inviting me on just to talk about Man City. So his first question to me was, what are your thoughts on City's season so far? Well, we lie in second, 5 points behind Liverpool. And we've had the one defeat to Norwich. We didn't play particularly well, some really sort of sloppy mistakes at the back, but apart from that, the Spurs game we drew, which we should have won, the goal should have been allowed, but again VAR rears its ugly head. But overall I think we played some fantastic football this season, so I can't be too disappointed. 5 points at this stage with over 30 games to go still to the end of the season. Am I worried? No, not at all. We saw what happened last season, 7 points behind Liverpool, and we still clawed that back. We've got a very, very in-depth squad, even though we've got injuries at the back, and also with Leroy Sané. It's one of those things. That's what we've got a big squad for, still fighting on fourth front. So I think it's been a good start. I'm not disappointed. Would I like to be level with Liverpool? Of course I would. Would I like to be ahead of them? Yeah, definitely. But am I worried at the moment? No. I think we've started well, and the fact that we've got players like Riyad Mahrez now suddenly starting to fire is only going to bode well for the season. So yeah, I think we've had a very decent start to the season. Dave asked me about City's biggest threat for Sunday. Well, Kevin De Bruyne has been ruled out, so we've learnt that today. He's not going to be back until after the international break. But we've got so many players. We saw what happened midweek against Dinamo Zagreb when Raheem Sterling came on and immediately made a massive difference. So for me, I think you need to seriously keep Raheem Sterling quiet. And obviously, if Mahrez is on fire, he can be amazing. We've also got Bernardo Silva. Let's hope that he regains some of that form that he's just slightly lost over the last couple of games since the FA investigation, let's call it, into the tweet that was made about Benjamin Mendy. But we've got players all over the pitch, David Silva, and then obviously the main man himself, Sergio Aguero. I just think he is ready to bang in 3-4 goals against somebody. I'm sorry to say it, but let's hope it's against you on Sunday. Dave asked, is there any players that I'm concerned about from Wolves? One player that I've been surprised, I don't think he's started that many games this season, I might be wrong, is Jota. I thought last season Jota was absolutely phenomenal, really dangerous, quick, very tricky. But obviously you've got the likes of Ruben Neves. Now, I don't think your team has actually started the season particularly well. but it's sod's law. After only 48 hours rest that you're going to get after last night's game, that suddenly you kick into gear. So Jota for me would be a danger, certainly against a makeshift defenders, centre-backs anyway, with Fernandinho, possibly Otamendi. But overall, I think Neves, if on his day, he can find those killer passes, and if Jota finds his form again, Jota could be the main one. So my prediction then for Sunday, unfortunately for you guys, I think City are going to win 4-1. I think with only 2 days rest, I think it's going to be a difficult game for you guys. But Wolves are always entertaining. I think it will be an exciting game. But I just think City, even if you sit back and try and defend against us, I think City will just pass and pass and pass. And they'll try and get you out and running around. And then by the second half, you'll start to tire. Those legs will start to feel it after Thursday night's game. And I think City will run out comfortable 4-1 winners. Anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Another big thanks to Dave from Talking Wolves, and we'll see you soon.
So big thanks to Man City Fan TV for those thoughts. Of course, you can find them in the description down below. Finn, we now move on, well, to our predicted lineup. We have spoke about it just now, but who would you go? I think to Given, Rui in goal.
Yeah, agreed there.
And then the same back five maybe?
Yeah, I think the Sace Bolly thing has worked really, really well from playing, like when we want to play out from the back, when we're in tight areas. But are we going to be wanting to play out from the back?
It's a good shot, actually,
yeah. Could you even go Sace into midfield and then Bennett maybe, and then swap Bolly back to his left? I don't know.
It's an interesting choice.
Logic says stick with the team that's just won us 2 games in a row.
And get 2 clean sheets as well.
Exactly, yeah. I'd definitely go Johnny and Doherty anyway, and I think Cody will be in there, so it's the other two. Bolly will be in as well. It's basically just the one.
Or Bennett, yeah.
Or Vallejo, never know.
Probably not. Well, anyone watching, let us know in the comment section down below who you'd go for in your whole team prediction, and in your back five as well. Midfield, of course. Are you going with the 2 in midfield, or are you going to opt with the 3?
I'm leaning towards that completely goes against me just saying do what's won us the games, but I am sort of leaning towards the 3. I think it's horses for courses, isn't it, in a game like this, and it works so well against the so-called top 6. I think that we'll see that changed up this year, but that's another point. So I think Martinez's definitely in there, isn't he? And then it's the argument the Sace one sort of moves over. Is he in midfield? Then Donk hasn't been particularly good this year, but the physical side you may need, I think he probably earns a spot there. Neves, is it going to be the classic 3? Do we unite them again? I'm leaning towards that, to be honest. And
then a Cutrone.
Do you remember last year at the Etihad when we just put like 8 behind? Obviously we had a man sent off.
And a Dharma up front.
Yeah, and a Dharma up front. Why don't we do that? Go 5-1 and just.
I remember
ping
that.
It up.
Yeah, it was like 3-0 down.
One chance on our end where he like took on like 4 players, and it was unbelievable. It was like Arsenal as well when we just put a Dharma up front.
Remember that? I think it was like for a minute where Edison was like literally on the halfway line, just passing it around with the defenders.
Yeah.
I was there like, we may as well go home now anyway.
The fans were brilliant when it was like you just a Ruben Neves to De Bruyne and Bonatini to Aguero. What a day! Even though we got it.
But Cutrone, if we play into up front, would you go Cutrone or Jimenez, or would you even give a Dharma a shout up top?
It does seem strange. I think we mentioned it on the Talking Wolves podcast about how we spent so long training Traore to be this right wing back, and then all of a sudden it's been thrown out the window, and he's been playing right wing. He basically was playing as the second striker for the last 5 at Besiktas as well, wasn't he? It was like Cutrone.
It's a weird formation yesterday, like an asymmetric.
Oh yeah. Again, he's loving the asymmetry at the moment. I didn't have a clue what was going on, but it worked. Maybe start with that. Just chuck players all over the place, see what happens. But I definitely. Then again, could you go Cutrone and Adama? Because Jimenez is going to be tired. He did look tired, didn't he, against Besiktas?
Well, I think he's going
to
have a break over the international period for the first time in probably about 12 years. So I think I'd play him. And if it's a close game, it might be 0-0. Wolves might be winning. City might have a 1 or 2 goal margin. I think look at it at half time. I think perfect. Bringing Adama on at half time yesterday against Besiktas was perfect, and I think we could easily do the same sort of thing. Just see how the game's going, and you can easily change formation. I think that's doable, and I think we could do that. So that will be interesting to see how that works as well. Score prediction then, Finn. Are you backing us to get a result at Etihad, or do you think we're going to be coming home disappointed.
Can I do a heart and a head?
Go on.
Is that okay? I do like that idea of Adama on at half time. The ideal situation would be 0-0 half time, wouldn't it? You bring him on and you nick a 1-0. It's not going to happen. So even my heart's not saying that. So I'm going to say 2-2 heart.
Ooh.
4-2. We're going to score 4-2 head. So logic says 3-2 in between that, doesn't it? If that was my final prediction.
3-2.
I'll go 3-2. That's an honourable loss, isn't it? That's not too bad.
That'd be a tasty 5-goal thriller as well. I predicted 3-1 City. But to be fair, we've defended quite resolutely over the last couple of games. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how it goes. But anyone watching today, let us know in the comment section down below your thoughts. What the score is going to be, how you think the game's going to go, your predicted lineup. Do you think Nuno will switch back to the 3 in midfield? Or as we were saying, do you think Adama Traore could affect the whole system? Hit the like button down below. Thanks, Finn, again for joining me on the preview. Subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, fingers crossed Wolves get the 3 points. But we'll be back for the match review after the game on Sunday. Until then, we'll see you all very, very soon.